It wasn't the love that was wrong, it was the timing. When emotional survival becomes the burden of a relationship. We tend to think of relationships that fall apart as evidence that the love wasn't real or that the people involved just weren't right for each other. But in truth, many heartbreaks aren't the result of wrong love, they're the result of wrong timing. Love can be genuine, deep, and full of potential, but if it happens at a time when one or both people are emotionally unstable, it can quickly become a trap rather than a safe space. The issue isn't necessarily how much someone loves, it's what they do with that love, how they use it, what they expect from it, and what emotional burdens they place on the person they love. In many cases, people don't just want connection, they want salvation. And they turn their partner into their emotional anchor, their lifeline, their only source of safety in a world that feels uncertain or overwhelming. That's not love's fault. That's the result of bad timing. And it turns something beautiful into something unsustainable. Timing shapes emotional readiness. Love is about more than feelings. It's about readiness, emotional, mental, and even situational. A healthy relationship requires both people to show up as individuals with a sense of self, personal stability, and the emotional capacity to care for someone else without losing themselves in the process. When someone is going through a personal crisis, a loss, career collapse, identity crisis, emotional trauma, they are often not in a place to engage in that kind of healthy connection. Their emotional resources are consumed by survival, and they may unconsciously look for a relationship not as a partnership, but as a form of rescue. In these cases, the love may be real, but the timing turns it into something unhealthy. Emotional survival and the burden of love. When people love from a place of emotional desperation, they aren't just looking for companionship, they're looking for stability. They hand over their entire sense of safety and self-worth to the other person, hoping that love will heal what life has broken. And while love can be healing, it's not meant to carry the full weight of someone's emotional survival. The partner, in turn, may start to feel pressure, an unspoken expectation to be a savior, therapist, parent, or emotional regulator. What began as a romantic connection now feels like emotional labor, and eventually that burden becomes too much to bear. The problem wasn't the love itself. It was that one person unknowingly made the other responsible for keeping them emotionally afloat. Not too much love, but love misplaced. People often say things like, she just loved too much, or he was too intense, too devoted. But most of the time, it's not about too much love. It's about unbalanced love. It's about using someone else's presence to patch over internal wounds that haven't been dealt with. Loving deeply is not a flaw. Wanting closeness is not a weakness, but when love is used as a substitute for self-work, it becomes distorted. It's no longer a gift, it's a grasp. No matter how real the emotions are, they lose clarity when they're driven by fear, emptiness, or dependency. So no, it wasn't that you loved too much. It's that you placed that love in a context that couldn't hold it. Emotional traps and relationship breakdown. Relationships that start during the wrong time often follow a predictable emotional pattern. Intra-intense connection. Both people feel seen, needed, and valued, especially the one who's emotionally struggling. M-spoken dependency. The struggling partner starts to lean more and more on the relationship for emotional regulation. Pressure builds. The other partner begins to feel responsible for the other's happiness or stability. Frustration or withdrawal. The relationship becomes heavy, tense, or distant. Emotional collapse. The partner in need panics, overreacts, or becomes obsessive in an effort to hold on. Breakdown. The relationship ends, not because there wasn't love, but because the emotional imbalance made it unsustainable. This trap hurts both people. The one who needed support feels abandoned. The one who was leaned on feels drained. And both walk away wondering what went wrong, even though the connection once felt so right. Why timing matters more than we realize. We rarely talk about timing in emotional terms. We talk about being ready in terms of age, career, or milestones. But emotional timing, where someone is within themselves, is often far more important. You can meet the right person at the wrong time and still have everything fall apart. That's not failure. It's not a reflection of your worth. It's just that love requires more than chemistry. It requires two people who are emotionally available, self-aware, and capable of giving and receiving in equal measure. If one person is drowning and the other doesn't know how to swim, no amount of love will keep both afloat. Healing is the key to healthy love. The best relationships are built on self-awareness, not self-abandonment. When you've done the work to understand your own emotional needs, wounds, and patterns, you stop expecting someone else to complete you. You don't hand them the responsibility for your happiness. You love freely, not desperately. This doesn't mean you have to be perfect before entering a relationship, but it does mean being aware of why you're seeking love. Is it because you're ready to share your life, or because you need someone to fix it? If it's the latter, then it's not love. It's a survival instinct. And survival instincts, while understandable, create emotional traps that real love can't always rescue you from. Final thought. The love was real, but it couldn't carry the weight. It's painful to walk away from a relationship that felt meaningful. It's heartbreaking to realize that love, no matter how genuine, wasn't enough to overcome bad timing. But there's also wisdom in that experience. You learn that the right person can't make up for the wrong emotional state. You learn that no one, no matter how loving, can carry the weight of your healing for you. And you learn that the most powerful love begins not when you're desperate for saving, but when you've already begun saving yourself. So if a relationship didn't last, don't rush to call it wrong love. Sometimes the love was right, but the time, the readiness, the emotional stability wasn't. And that distinction? It's not failure, it's growth.